Welcome back. Last week, the world reacted in horror at the news that 49 people were killed and 53 more injured in a club in Orlando, Florida. Now, the person who carried out these acts was initially thought to be affiliated with ISIS, but now the story is coming out that it was a totally different event. The biggest piece of news is that that club was an LGBT club, and it's something that we need to talk about, bring it home to Nigeria and actually expand the conversation here. Now, to help me do that is Michael Akanji. He's the Director of Programs for the Initiative for Equal Rights. Welcome to The Crunch.
Thank you very much.
I always say, especially when we have all these negative stories, that I wish I was bringing you here under more pleasant circumstances.
Yeah, well, it's always like that. Some of you in the media will always say bad news sells.
It does sell. It does sell.
Yeah.
And I think last week was the kind of news that generated headlines around the world. The biggest mass killing in the U.S. history. Yeah.
Well, it's very sad that we can have people who just wake up and decide to kill another person because they are different. Because what we are brought up with, it's variety is the spice of life, and when people despise variety, it means they despise life itself. It's really, really very sad.
There was a very interesting contrast for me in the Nigerian response to the news of the shooting in Orlando. There was a lot of sympathy from even conservative people, you know, so to speak. And I contrasted that with our reactions when gay people are killed here in Nigeria. There's often they deserved it. What do you think, why do you think we had that kind of contrast?
Well, there are a lot of social factors. Part of it, it's the way media present issues, the objectivity with it. Compared to Orlando, the way the media presented it, they were not talking about LGBT persons, they were talking about humans.
Yeah.
These were humans that have been killed by like a deranged person who has done that. But here, we've had instances where instead of the media reporting it from the human angle, they are much more reporting it from the way that it is LGBT people.
There's already a slant or bias.
Yes, towards it. Like the case we were making inference to Olumide.
Yes.
The way the media reported it, it was more like, oh, a gay person had been killed. So it's more like -1. Already. Yes, already. Instead of talking about it from the human angle. And when you look at some of those things, it's really breaks our mind when we don't see another person as human.
As a human being.
When we think about them because they are different from us, as a result, they are not human. Even taking the example of the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, recently just said, oh, every Nigerian had. And some of us were thinking, what were you thinking when you were signing that law in place? Yeah. When you were in power, you think they were not human, but all of a sudden you now thought that, oh, they are now humans.
Because the signing of that bill into law, it seemed like it's opened even wider the floodgates that made people feel it was okay to assault or to lynch or, you know?
Yeah, because that's the first time ever in the history of this country where a law is in place that criminalizes its own citizen. Because it now opened up a kind of avenue for people to now say that, oh, you are criminalized. So as a result, you are not...
You're denied certain privileges or rights. Not even privileges, rights.
Rights, like that. So as a result, we can do away with you. That was the first time in the history of Nigeria that we have that. And you have the same person that signed that law into place that criminalizes a segment of Nigerian to now say that, oh, everybody has human rights. So it's like more like a lot of social things are involved. If you look at the Orlando case, people were there, they have their own space to be. In Nigeria, do LGBT have that kind of space in Nigeria? Then you have a government reacting to violation of human rights. Here, do we have a government that is ready to react? Very funny, our president also issued a statement.
A statement, yes, he did.
But the problem, but the question I always ask, not just only the president, even the spokesperson for the Nigerian police also tweeted about it. And I replied his tweet, I said, how many times have you tweeted about violations of LGBT people in Nigeria? So we really need to move away from that hypocritical response to
well,
things
we are
that happen.
sympathetic when it's external.
When it's external, but when it happens here, it's like it doesn't really concern me. Okay,
last question. Tears recently premiered a movie, Hell and High Water. Hell or High Water. Yeah. That was one of the aims or objectives is to actually open up a conversation. Yeah. What have the reactions been? Do you have people coming to say, "Oh, I didn't see it that way," or do you have people, you know, bringing placards and threatening to burn you guys down?
We've not had that instance. In fact, it's been very encouraging. Right there, after the movie, we had somebody that said, "Oh, before now, we never thought LGBT persons are human." And now I'm seeing another aspect to it. In fact, she wrote a blog about it. She wrote a post on our blog about it. And that shows that public education, it's very important. It's important. Because when people are not knowledgeable about things, they react in a way that is influenced by people who shape their opinion. And these people who shape their opinion might be biased. Yeah. But when people are exposed to the information and knowledge about things, it can really change the way they react to things. And that's what our Tears, that's what we aim to get from that movie. Because it's more like people need to start discussing about these things, whether we believe in it or not, whether we said people have a right to do whatever they like or not. It's very important we start discussing about those things so that people can have understanding and knowledge about issues of LGBT rights in Nigeria. Yeah. And because when we talk about LGBT rights, we are talking about human rights. There is no special right for LGBT people. But what we are just saying is that there is need for us to start looking at things holistically. Yeah. When we say human rights, are we saying some people are excluded?
Not human.
So we need to talk about the inclusivity of all in our discussion about human rights, and that's what Hell or High Water is doing. Yes.
Guys, we would love your reactions. Have you watched Hell or High Water? Did it influence your perception in any way? Why are we so divided in our reactions to Orlando versus Ondo? Have you ever had a conversation about, do gay people, LGBT people have the same rights as other people? And what does it mean then if you say that they don't have the same rights? These are conversations that we need to open up. These are questions we need to ask ourselves. And these are honest answers that we need to be able to say, you know what, I've thought about this for myself, and this is my answer. You know, it's not an easy road, but it's a road that must be taken. Exactly. Thank you so much for coming. Despite, guys, you know, he literally landed from the airport and just came here. So thank you so much for making the time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Guys, we're going to take a really quick break. We'll be right back.